And if you have written any question that you want to direct it to any particular one, please do so. Anyone has any questions? I'm sure you have. Or any area of clarification, what they said this morning during their teaching, and just any area that you are not clear about. Anything that ACF is doing that you are not clear about or with, or that you would like to see improvements. All right, we're going to start with our men's leader. The men are always taking the first position.
Thank you very much, erudite professors, doctors, mathematicians, cardiologists, and everyone. The ministry of the African Christian Fellowship involves prayer. And God has commanded us to pray. You know, we have several ministries, women's prayer meetings, men's prayer meetings, and then the All African Christian Fellowship Atlanta meetings, you know, Tuesday, Thursday. Usually the women and the men, they pray on Tuesdays and on Tuesdays. And then the General ACF on Thursdays. You know, the meetings are sparsely attended, and that bothers me a lot, you know. The foundation of any Christian ministry is prayer. I would throw the question open: how can we increase participation in prayer?
Anyone that wants to say, open to anybody. Or if anyone wants to make a contribution from the floor, can also do that.
Praise the Lord. I have shared many times in this fellowship that prayer is not a gift of the Holy Spirit. A gift is what the Lord gives to whom He gives. Prayer is not on the list. Prayer is a command for every Christian. You cannot say, I do not have that gift. You can talk to the Father the way you like, and He answers because it's a function of the heart. Therefore, my suggestion, Brother Akindayo, is maybe like the men's, the one we do every Tuesday. You probably have a list of those who you take attendance, you've been taking attendance every time, you'll be monitoring attendance. I know some people are not able to come because of their duty of jobs, but I think there's nothing wrong in, from time to time, identify those who have not been coming and probably consulting with them, or even inviting them to lead their own way. I know that there are other, like I was saying this morning, there are problems. In Hebrews chapter 12, we are told that they are sided with weight. There are so many weights, so many distractions in our lives today. But probably if those who have not been coming are identified. And the same can be said about the general ACF meetings. I believe that the Secretary's office, we take attendance every time we come. There must have been a lot of people that have not been coming. Is there any effort to interact with them? Because we have their phone numbers, we have their emails. To interact with them, follow up in what I have noticed is a very significant way to introduce success into anything, ability to follow up. That's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wants to contribute to that? Okay, good.
Thank you so much. I thank Dr. Adiele my question would have gone to Dr. Oguteli. And I know that in your presentation you listed the factors that are affecting leaders' commitment. But in our prayer, I'm the prayer coordinator for women. But we saw a lot of people lagging behind. We saw some lukewarmness. We saw people not coming. My question would have been to you, what do you think we should do to draw these people closer, to the extent that they will be interested in doing what we are doing, join us in doing what we do, so that all of us can achieve the goal that we have set. I know you have already mentioned some of them. In our group, we have women people that are, that call members when they don't show up. You call them to find out what the issue is, what the problem is, where can we step in to help? But when it's a family issue, you cannot step into, begin to solve family issues for others. You pray about it. So I would have asked, do you have any other thing to add to that? Because we experience that a lot, especially in our leadership. We have executive prayer meeting every Tuesday, but even at that level, so many people are not coming. Do you have any other contribution that can help?
Is it directly to Dr.
I think we're wrestling with good issues. When people are not coming, I think it would be important to ask, why are they not coming? Is it because they are unbelievers? Is it because that time is not good? Is it because of the day? Is it because of how that prayer is even structured?
Yeah.
We need to start with first examining that, because the answers could lead to different things. I know of people that pray earlier in the morning as a group. Is that better for some? Maybe if you find that there are different types of subgroup needs, could we do subgroup sometimes and maybe move the overall, instead of once a week, to something every other week to accommodate that? So I think it needs to start with the right diagnostics. It might be that some people will never do it, but the other one is, what is the problem? If they are young and their children need to go to school or bed, can we create a sub area where they can do something different and still be praying? So that would be some of my thoughts.
Contribution.
Do you have anything? Yeah, maybe after this week.
Oh no, I didn't know. I thought you just took the. Go ahead when you're done.
Yeah, I think it's an area of challenge, but I think that question or the same challenge, it applies to a lot of other things we do as Christians. You remember one of the things that was recorded in our talks this morning, activities. Now, prayer is our lifeline to God. It's a principal activity for us. It's commanded, but it's still activity if you turn it into activity. I attend a church where they have a very wonderful men's fellowship on Tuesday evenings, starting Tuesday evenings anyway. Well, I've been dying to attend for a long time. I even scheduled with one young drug rep that comes to my office, who happens to be in my church, that I want to go together with him. But every time I desire to, I'm in the office on Tuesdays in a place where there's no way I can get there during that time. So I tell myself, well, maybe God will open the opportunity someday for me to be able to attend. But after a while, I don't beat myself down anymore, because
I know I desire to, but I can't. But that's reality in life. Now, if they think I'm not a Christian at church, because they've not seen me at the men's fellowship in church, God bless them. Now, we are commanded to pray, but what we need to do is ask ourselves, are the timings that we set up applicable to all the people that are supposed to come? So that's why we ask them, how did we change when we meet in this fellowship? We used to meet every Saturday. I was part of DC Fellowship. We met every Sunday. And I attended regularly. But guess what? It came to a point at this fellowship a few years ago, we had a referendum, a dialogue about, okay, what's affecting attendance? And then we changed our fellowship meeting to every other week. Has it diminished the capacity of Atlanta Fellowship? No. In fact, we are more effective. And people feel free to organize some other things. So bottom line is, the questions that Brother Adiele asked us to ask each other, the root cause of the problem, not the conclusion. So if we know what is affecting different people, what limits their ability to function at that time, then maybe we will change the frequency, we will change the time, whatever it will take to make it more convenient for children of God, because we already know they are all children of God. They are probably attending prayer in their church too. So it's not that they don't love to pray to God. So many times we conclude they don't want to pray. But what we should ask ourselves is what will make it more effective. It's not the fact that we pray everybody, I hope we all have prayer times in your home, personally. But it's not the fact that we have a prayer meeting every day that will make the lifeline to God work. It's effectiveness of what we do. So we should look inwards, ask ourselves, what's the most convenient, what will produce the best number of attendance, and then we'll be more effective sometimes and not get frustrated.
Amen.
Thank you. Dr. Latidoni touched on one of the comments I wanted to make, because even last Sunday when we had our meeting, I made that comment too. It is not how many times you gather for something, it's the effectiveness. Because I remember when I was in the women's executive, we were having prayers every Tuesday. I wasn't attending to all of them. I just chose one Tuesday because I told them that I was not going to be dialing in every Tuesday, because we tend to forget that many of us are very active in our churches and we have different activities. So it's like you set up a time for everybody to meet. This is the time for all the people that are first sons. This is the time for all the people that are called Ebenezer. This is the time for all the people that are men. You find out that you belong to every single one of them. I think we need to be very, very wise in managing our time, because you just don't do this, and at the end you're not productive. You know, you get burnt down. If you look at some of the churches, there are only skeletal number of people that will gather to do things. And you know, by the time you know it, they're losing momentum, they're losing interest. You don't see people to come and do the same thing again. And secondly, if you, I think sometimes we need to show people that we care. People want to know that you care. I was one of the leaders in our women's ministry in the church, and I found out one thing that is very, very important in getting followers to follow you as a leader. You have to develop relationship. You don't ask me, call on me to check on how I am doing, and all of a sudden you are calling me to say, I don't see you in women's ministry. Well, we have another meeting on so dates. I mean, I won't be glad if you call me to tell me that. I need to see that you care, you know.
I think that's one of the things that we should, one of the formula we should be using to get these people to participate.
Maybe we fit in this topic.
Thank you. We have one more person that raised it. After that, we're going to different topic. We have 15 minutes.
Praise the Lord. I really have been hesitating trying to make this comment or make this statement, but it may be helpful to some of us leaders as leaders. There are certain situations and certain comments that we make, and behind the door, it hurts some people who intentionally want to do something and they may drag them back. Let me make an instance with the men's prayer time. There are times people will call in at certain times. We start at 9 o'clock. They dial in at certain time. We do not understand why they dial in the time they dial in, and we do not understand why they don't say anything when they dial in. But when the time for to check on those who were present is called, and they make statements, there are some certain statements we need to start withholding ourselves. One of the statements that was made in one of the men's meeting, prayer meeting, was that some people just answer, they don't dial in when it's time to, probably about 3 minutes or a few minutes to go, they just dial in to answer that they're present. Somebody may be driving, dial in, turn off, and put his or her phone on mute. When it's that time, the person may just answer. We need to be cautious as Christians to avoid certain comments that may be detrimental to what people are doing.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. That's important to know. Just not to be. What you're saying is don't be too judgmental. Don't be judgmental. And but as brethren, and this is a fellowship as well, we need to also be very conscious of that. Don't be too judgmental. We are all growing at different rate, and being a fellowship, in fact, you're doing a lot more. You're trying to handle both your activities at the church as well as contribute your time to the improvement of our fellowship as well. So we commend you. Let's be conscious of that. But then on the other side, if you are in that position, please also understand whether it is making noise on the other side or disturbing what is going on, or doing more to contribute towards the improvement of what is going on is also very important on your part. So it's give and take. I really appreciate that because it's important not to be too judgmental. We're going to the next question, right? Okay, go ahead.
Praise the Lord. I'll be fast. I joined ACF a few years ago, and I never had in mind, I was just thinking, just fellowship. But then I've become today, the I've become today is because of ACF. And I give God glory because of that. And I would also want to suggest this as elders and ACF. It would be good for us to identify who is who, mainly for young people, because some of us are just looking for, I don't know, Canaan out there. Why I was just right here in ACF. We don't know that. And then you sit with somebody that will help your destiny, help your life, because at this stage in my life, I don't want to be poor. I want to buy a house. I want to get ABCD. And if I look at the age gap between what our parents, our fathers have achieved at my age, it's like though we're like 10 years behind. So some of our elders achieved a whole lot at the age of 25. But at the age of 25 now, it's difficult to achieve what they have achieved. And then the reason why, because we keep looking for something outside, which is already in SCF. So I believe it will be good for us to come together and say, okay, this person is into this person is into this, so that we young adults can really, really understand. Because if we don't understand, then we start looking for things that we're looking for outside. And that really also helped me in my marriage. I'm 2 years now in marriage. Looking for counselor outside until God opened my eyes that I can actually find a counselor in the house. Our marriage is doing well now because of Uncle Jegede, because we went to have opened up for counseling, and it's free of charge, and we didn't even know that. I so much believe that what Uncle was saying is not the leader being a leader, it's the leadership responsibility. Let's now open our eyes to what we have in this place, because if you don't know what you have, you end up abusing it.
Man, I like to make it.
Brother James is touching on a very critical point, and that is part of passing the legacy. That the older generation really need to seek opportunity to impact the new generation, provide a forum that is safe enough for them to ask questions and learn. And also for the younger generation, whether it's in the marketplace or different areas, to do that. The next generation is becoming very receptive. February 1, I will be in Houston, and that's a Friday evening, and it will be with the next generation to talk about the marketplace and professional development and how you build wealth and how you understand that. The next generation is then for the rest. But we need to seek opportunity to really begin that mentoring and counseling. That's what the Jews do. That's what the Chinese are doing. That's what the Indians are doing. Every community that is strong enough must pass intergenerational knowledge, intergenerational wealth. They don't need to make mistakes that we have made. It's to stand on our shoulders and grow. So it's a good challenge. But maybe in Atlanta, it's not come to fellowship. It's finding that right forum. When I went to Houston before, it was hosted by Next Generation in our house. They brought food. 25 of them came with their children, came with their spouses, and we just chilled.
Praise the Lord. Last night, Richardson, thank God, he came and participated in what happened. But I was so blessed. Every third Friday of the month, members of my Sunday school class in the church, we meet in a home. But I usually make the first one to happen in our home. Among all those that came, a couple, I didn't even know that the Lord laid on my heart to talk about prayer and miracles, healings, and all that. Because since last week, my devotion has been on that, using the devotional guide. And then I said, maybe the Lord wants me to really bring this up and talk about it and pray. But as people came in, there were so many people. I mean, that whole basement was filled, so many people. So as I started talking, we just sang a few songs, because I know when that opens up, there will be questions. We just sang, I think, three, 4 songs, and we stopped. And then I started, and the pastor, I didn't know this man was a pastor. The man picked up a microphone. I thought he was asking a question. As Joe was there, the man broke down. He said, I thought this kind of thing had died. He pastors in Birmingham. He said, I thought what I'm saying had died. You guys have blessed me. You guys have blessed me. Because in my church, I can't even get to have this kind of thing happen. And I said, Pastor, you have actually blessed me for saying this. Because sometimes people feel like, oh, another Friday of a third month, another third Friday in a month. So what am I saying here? I see, for example, in our fellowship, what I'm going to propose, I can say it outright. We can't wait till February, whatever, to go somewhere and talk about what? Marriage enrichment. How come we cannot dedicate a time, maybe quarterly, and say, okay, this time is going to be, and people are hurting among us. You don't know, because I don't come in my report and talk about families who are hurting. But if we have opportunity to be addressing these issues, people would go home with that knowledge that my brother said over there. If he didn't tell us that that man was available and his wife to help us, we wouldn't know. You see, that's what happens. And testimonies can happen like that voluntarily. That, wow, I was blessed because of what happened. So that if we say, when a Saturday that we are coming in here, and we dedicate 1 hour to talk about something, there's nothing that wrote in heaven saying we have to sing for 30 minutes, we have to do this for this and that. Let's dedicate a time and say, okay, this is very important because people are hurting. Why are people not being in prayer? Why are people are hurting in many areas? Interest, people lose interest. Can we as leaders give people opportunity? You know, I'm not priding myself. In my Sunday school class, we have produced people who have gone on to be in the board. Because I don't want to be there and standing there being a teacher, teach every Sunday. So I dedicate people to teach, even when they don't want to teach. I say, I'm going to be sitting down here. When I see you veer off, I'm going to raise a question and help you to get back on track. And before you know it, they are now teachers. They have classes. Because I don't want to stay there and be teaching. And we've had this class for a long time. You know, last night was such a blessing. I was really blessed so much when I heard that pastor and say that. And we prayed for him and for his church. So let's begin to take what Adiele has taught us and break it down and begin to do something different. And this fellowship is going to explode in Jesus' name.
Amen. So, okay, Sister, is that the same or different question?
Praise the Lord. Last Saturday, from the hours of 10 a.m. and about 1, the question Brother James brought up happened in my face. I have this friend of mine, both herself and her husband are pastors, and she got a few of us involved in what she does virtually. Last Saturday, apart from myself and herself, every other person there, including some of them with their tiny slacks and their tiny babies there, they were all under 35. They opened up. They really opened up. They were all females, but they opened up. But there was one question that really touched me. One of them said that her friends keep asking her, you want to be born again? Are you going to leave all this? So the bottom line is that they opened up, and because they opened up, we were able to, as the Lord leads, we were able to minister to them, pray with them, and things like that. Then secondly, talking about good prayers, with all due respect, I have come across people who don't want to pray in groups, with some groups, because of one of the reasons, discipline. Somebody comes out, gives out their testimony, gives out their prayer points, and it becomes a marketplace discussion. So these are some of the things. Then secondly, for example, when I had an accident, Elder Mana called me because the president told him. Yeah, I didn't tell the whole house, in fairness to the house, but the president, I told him. Elder Mana called me. The nature of his call, you could feel the passion. You could feel when somebody calls you, when somebody is reaching out to you and is with a passion. So